trust me, when you start and you see the potential and you feel good about it and you nurture it and you care it and you grow your Instagram and you grow your following and you grow your popularity and exposure and you see it take time off.
You're doing what you love.
I got my first camera when I was in grade 3. Yeah, I found it back the other day.
Welcome, Odain Donegan, and thank you so much for your time and joining today's discussion on turning skills into businesses.
I was always like the creative type of person. My room always got a cut up paper, you know, make something, build something, tear down something constantly. Like from, I can remember, always mash up something. So now you realize that you might have the talent or the skill or the interest to do something, and you kind of in your head one day, this is what you want to do to make money. So you kind of start looking. If you're not looking for somebody else to employ you, you're probably looking at how you're going to set up your business. And it can start basically from, I mean, nowadays, just an Instagram account and an email address. And you basically can start work. So I'll say the first job I got taking pictures at any run or something is Pacers running club. Somebody messaged me and said, hey, we're having a run from Boulevard Supercenter at 4 o'clock in the morning.
AM.
4 o'clock AM, you can come take some pictures for us. And even then I'm like, all right, cool, no problem, because 3 people are gonna do it so anyway, because who the hell I get up out of them bed 4 o'clock to run. And they're running from Boulevard Supercenter, that's Washington Boulevard, to Fort Clarence. Exactly. So me like about 3 or 4 people are down here, so cause this is madness, nobody's doing this at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I actually said, listen, you don't need to pay me to come and take pictures, just buy me gas. I said this, just buy me gas. And a $2,500 me charge them. Just buy me gas. That's me say me just a build the brand, a build the network. That's all me did for. Plus me the kind of feel bad to say, I can't charge you no money because a 6 hours so it not gonna work. So show up down a boulevard because once me I got to take pictures somewhere, I'm early, me up, and I have not to worry about sleep and all that.
So it was really at 3 o'clock work.
Yeah man, so me up and me reach down there. And the parking lot full beer vehicle down there in the morning, and I say, what the hell you say? So now, even that I was shocked because I said people really get up, go run, go Fort Clarence in the early morning, yeah. You need to have variety, you need to have depth. You don't want to just be a business card designer or a logo designer because Jamaica and the economy isn't so big that you can sustain yourself designing logos alone, because it's not every day if somebody wants a logo, and if every day somebody wants a logo, they're not going to necessarily come to you.
So while we're on that note, like we know that for the most part there have been no parties since March, right? And maybe for the same audience, a group of people who are probably party photographers, they're probably right now just out of work. Can you mention some other areas that may be good for them to explore? So photography is one thing, design is one thing, but what are other industries that they can tap in with those same skills?
Well, a lot of people, because they have work and they're constantly working, they don't make time for portfolio stuff or for personal stuff. Mm-hmm. So you'll have party photographers, but they might be good landscape photographers or portrait photographers or architect photographers. So they need to make the time to take some pictures of some building, take some pictures of some landscape, do some street photography, have other stuff that when an opportunity might come up, because as I said, it's not only parties that people want photographers for. Corporate Jamaica actually uses a lot of photography. Lot of photography.
Yeah,
so,
they're the ones with the checks, with the big checks.
Exactly. You need to realize that you can't take every picture. You can't design every piece of artwork for everybody. Because when something take you 2 hours, 3 hours, how much of that you can design for able to make enough money for last for the end of the month. So after a very short time, you're going to realize that you need to find the people who do what you do. So a lot of times people see other photographers as competition. They're allies. You need to collaborate with them on some shoot and some because that also builds your network, because you might get exposed to their clients, and somebody might have a wedding and one next event on the same day, and them call you and say, hey, you want to work here? Want to go mash up this? And
it's also a way to not say no, because you know somebody doesn't want to be reaching out to you, and whenever they contact you, you're never available.
Exactly.
You're telling them maybe not right now, you can't, but here, and you're offering them a solution at the same time. It's different, and they will come back. Even though you didn't do the job, they may still come back to you, because
and that happens to me. I'll be like, you won't get me personally, but the person may I send to you can do them thing.
Excellent.
And if the person shows up and do what they're supposed to do, then it's a win. The price that you charge also puts you in a box as well. So you might feel a way to say, all right, a $5,000 I normally charge, I'm going to go and charge $5,000. Then you're going to be the $5,000 man. It's like your rate can't change after that, you know. So when you get a different certain clientele, you're going to still have your $5,000 work them way you do, you know, the $5,000, because you can't leave out your ground people. You're not going to do all that work there. You're going to take on what you can manage. But when you realize that your network has changed, you have to change your rates to match it, because with this type of field, you'll get burnt out easily, because you are the product. You are the product. Because if you're sick, you catch the flu. Let's say you catch the flu, where you just have to put you down for 5 days. You can't work for 5 days. And you can't get people in place like cough and a sneeze for everybody. You can't do it.
Definitely not now.
Exactly. If you book your tour and anything happen to you, you are the product. So you have to make sure you get paid when you can get paid, because when you can't get paid, you need something to balance you over. And definitely build your network. As in, because if you're around the $5,000 set of people, then you're going to always get the $5,000 set of work.
Makes sense.
So you have to branch out and talk to some other type of people and tell them what you do. And even if you might be out of place in the beginning, you know, you're going to feel like you stick out. You're going to feel like you're wearing red and everybody else in a white. Mm-hmm. But see, eventually, then we start turn pink. And you rub off. You know? When I decided that I was going to do the magazine in 2015, I decided I was going to start in 2015. In 2014, I finally get the visa. After several tries, I back on my passport stamp up. You know, I finally get the visa, and I go travel for the first time in 2014, and I take out a loan and buy $1,600 US. $1,600 US, and out of that, accommodation was supposed to come, food was supposed to come out of that, because I was going to be there for probably a week or so. So, you know, transportation, everything's supposed to come out of that, as well as, you know, your shopping money and whatever else. And I decided I was going to buy a camera, and of that $1,600, the camera cost, I think, $850 at the time. And I decided, say, I'm going to start the magazine next year, so I'm going to need a camera. I'm going to need a camera because I realized that, I mean, a magazine is basically graphic designing and photography. You don't need the pictures, and you need to lay out the pictures and lay out some text. That's basically what it is, which is why I say I can do it. So I buy the camera, $800, that's like more than half of my entire money that I brought to foreign with transportation. So I was basically broke after that. I just want to come back home and I can't shop.
Broke your life.
Yeah, but broke. So, you know, but I have my camera. So, you know, I come back down, and that's when I started to learn professional photography. And because as I said, I never know nothing about flash and light and exposure and all of the photography terms. I didn't know anything about anything.
So that's another thing, Odain. It's also important to invest in the right tools. So we invest time in YouTube University and learning the skills. It's also important to invest in the right tools. And sometimes the money seems big and enough upfront, and you can't manage it, but that eventually is what pays you. It pays for itself several times over.
Yeah. As I said, I knew that I was going to start the magazine in 2015. So 2014, I bought the camera and I knew that I would have to start practice.
So what we're saying is that it starts off with a passion. It starts off with that skill, that talent. But even more importantly, in order to get that a successful outcome, you need a plan and discipline to go with that.
You need the plan. You definitely need it. The plan must work, you know.
You know, must work.
And it must go exactly to plan either. But at least you have a framework.
You have a guide.
Yeah, at least made that plan for you. So what I did, I'm like, all right, I'm starting a fitness magazine. I need to be around fit people. I need to be where they are. Yeah, where
that's when they stop talking to me, too fat.
So I'm like, the biggest events that happened then and still happen are the 5K runs.
Yeah.
And so those would happen. So we done decide the first event we are going to was the Sigma run.
And that was free, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I just show up with my camera
and take a lot of pictures.
And some business card. And everybody picture me, give them a card and say, hey, check out the website here.
I'll post it and tag them.
Yeah, check out the website here. We are going to post a picture of them. Or check out the Facebook.
Then check it and share it.
Yeah, then that was the strategy. Go every 5K and take picture for free. And give people my card and say, go on the Instagram and stuff. Because I remember when my Instagram was
That's a brilliant strategy, actually. Because I'm going to come find my picture, tag myself, share it on my page. All of my friends going to see it and start going through the rest of pictures.
Yeah, exactly. And that was it. So, we start show up and so it moved from that 5K to another 5K to another 5K to another 5K.
Okay, that.
It will take a lot of sacrifice, a lot of things you're going to realize. You're going to have to stop to some people where they're on, you can't be around them no more. Place you used to go, you can't do it no more. You just have to decide where you're going to cut off. I'll say, try to not cut off too many of the good people out of your life. I will say that because people get sacrificed as well. It's not just things and places that get sacrificed. A lot of times when you look back, like me look back. Wait, Jessica, you're gone. Or you come back. I look back and realize there are some people and at years you see them and they're like right there, they're not like they move. Them still in the same place, but because you're so busy.
They've been overlooked.
Yeah, everybody you just basically functioning on the essentials now. You just do what needs to be done because that's all your time affords you to do.
I think that's something that shouldn't necessarily be looked at as a bad thing. As we move through different stages of life and our own journeys, we have to be willing to separate ourselves from certain circumstances and certain relationships as well. Mm-hmm. And in so doing, form the relationships that are better suited for us and our next.
At that time, yeah, because I used to play football and volleyball with Sajikor and so. Remember, I used to step on the team and so I used to be there, play football and everything, and realize the time when I gonna need to go training. I work, so I can't dip on the team no more. I learn photography, I learn web design, I learn videography, I learn video magazine. I learn about different texts, that so much things, because if you can't do it, you have to pay somebody to do it.